Hello friends, it's Chops and welcome to another Chops vlog. How are y'all doing? I hope you're doing great. I am doing quite all right myself. As I am recording this, it is like 5 or 6 hours until Wrath of the Lich King launches. As you are watching it, Wrath of the Lich King has probably already launched. So it is time, and that is going to be predominantly what I'm talking about in a little bit. But before I get too far into that, I did want to mention one small thing. I think I've talked about it briefly on the channel before, but my other hobby is I play Warhammer 40k, like a small version of it called Kill Team. And I recently did a little bit of voice acting for a Kill Team channel that is running a narrative campaign of Kill Team games, just is pretty cool. And I'm going to link that video right up here in the corner. And you can check that out if you want to, see if you can tell which character is me. It's really not hard to figure that out. But yes, anyways, now that we're on to that, let's chat a little bit. For those of you who have been around for a little bit, you may know that about 6 weeks ago, I recorded a video where I talked about how I was going to be taking some time off from retail and taking some time stepping back from the game a bit because not only do I have some things coming up in real life, I have a trail race I have to go to in a couple of weeks that I need to train for, but I also just wanted to cool off a little bit before things got really heavy, because the end of the year is always a really busy time in World of Warcraft. There's a lot of world events that pop up. Like we're in Brewfest right now. When Brewfest ends, we're moving into, I think it's like the Dark Moon Fair, and then into the Thanksgiving event, and then into the anniversary event, and then into Christmas. Like it's just this nonstop train of world events that are a very big thing for free to play, because it's where you get a lot of achievements, a lot of pets, a lot of toys, a lot of just stuff that you're collecting on your free to plays. But it's also just fun to be a part of. Yeah, the anniversary event's coming around. That you can do Korak summons into various places that you're not supposed to go. Anyways, one of the things that I wasn't really considering was the Wrath of the Lich King release. I obviously had been kind of working on a 39 warrior twink for a while. It wasn't something I was like getting super serious about, but it was a thing that I was interested in, right? Like Wrath of the Lich King 39s are where I really like got my start twinking. I had some pretty bad and very poorly built twinks, as early as vanilla, one of those like, oh, I'm going to level to 19 and just buy some stuff off the auction house and buy whatever enchants exist, and that's just going to be whatever's cheap and go. And of course, you get steamrolled because you're not actually that well geared. Anyways, 39s are where 39s and Wrath are when I joined a actual twink guild. I played in twink pre-mades. I took the gearing seriously. I had a really well-geared 39 warrior that is now my vet warrior. That was my heyday of twinking, was Wrath 39. So I was somewhat curious to get back into it and see if is my memory of it just rose-colored glasses? Is it as good as I remember and all that? And it turns out it really is as good as I remember. Like I am having a blast in the bracket. I've only played PvP 4 or 5 nights, I think. 3 or 4 nights, something like that. I have a hair less than 1,000 HKs. It's been awesome. I really kind of missed all the stance dancing and the extra abilities, and I missed sort of how the bracket fits together. I think I mentioned this in the last video about missing like all the stance dancing and stuff, but I kind of miss how the bracket fits together well. Like every class sort of has its role that it plays, but various classes can play various roles in different ways, and there aren't any really like bad specs or bad classes. I mean, there are. You can purposefully build a very bad build, but like if you're looking to play a certain spec or a certain build, you can fit it within a team pretty well. And I really I enjoy all that. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I missed it a lot. And I find myself also very excited for Wrath of the Lich King endgame, which is not to say like I'm super excited about going and starting raiding again. God, no. But there is some chatter in the guild, which is what happened. I should back up to that. I was curious about 39s, but wasn't really planning on getting into them. Then like the day after I released that video where I was talking about like, hey, I'm gonna like kind of take a break and not really focus too much on the game for a while, just to kind of get mentally ready for this slew of game activities and events coming up. The day after that, Blizzard put free-to-play accounts and XP off accounts into the XP off queue. So then we got 29s dumped into our bracket. And of course, I've talked at length about how much I dislike 29s as a culture. Not all of them. Rise is cool. But as a culture, I really dislike 29s. And so like right after I was like, well, I'm going to take a break from retail for a while. Right after that, it was like, well, there's no real reason to like worry about PvP anymore, which PvP was never like my main attraction to twinking, but it was all my friends that I play with. That's what they like to do. So I PvP'd a bit, and that just kind of killed that. Nobody wants to play 20s into 29s and let them have their bracket and whatever. That's fine. So it was kind of a perfect timing for me to be like, oh, all right, well, let's look elsewhere for a little while. And I ended up getting really into my 39, and a bunch of the people from Teldrassil Firefighters, our 20 vet guild, were like, hey, like let's also check out 39s. This sounds fun. And I think the hype train was good enough that we got a whole guild of 39s. Like we've probably got, I'd say 15 members who are like consistently on. We've easily had 5-man groups rolling in Warsong Gulch over Warsong Gulch weekend. Like we just have a whole crew came over here. And it's nice. It feels good. It feels like the early days of Teldrassil Firefighters, and everybody was hyped to get into groups. Everybody was hyped to play. And a bunch of them have also stated that they're somewhat interested in playing a little bit of endgame. And we have to play a little bit of endgame to get heirlooms, which are best in slot for a lot of classes, or at least 1 or 2 heirlooms are best in slot for a lot of classes. And so we're going to have to play a little bit because we're going to have to do some heroics. But we were also talking about Nax. This is Wrath of the Lich King is when 10-man raids became possible, right? So we were talking about doing a little bit of like sort of the 10-man raiding thing on top of that, because we were all pretty hyped on Wrath. I think everybody had forgotten just how good it is. We're gonna try to pick some flowers while I chat, but look at this. Look at how many Death Knights are out here just like working on their professions. Anyways, we just all ended up really hyped on Wrath, and it's just I don't want to say it's a better game than retail, because that is very truly comparing apples to oranges. Retail is a very different game than Wrath, and Wrath is just such an exceptional version of World of Warcraft. It's a great MMO RPG. Like it hasn't yet abandoned that RPG aspect of the game. Look at this. Look at how many people are out here. Retail's dead, bros. Like, it's nothing compared to Wrath. Ooh, flower. So I think the hype there is real, and so I think that like we're really looking at being able to pick up some good dungeon groups and some good maybe raiding groups and stuff like that. It's going to be a good time, and I'm really stoked on that. And that's kind of where my energy has been. You know, I took a step back from Wrath, or not Wrath. I took a step back from retail. You know, thinking that like, all right, cool. I'm going to get my head straight, get really ready for this big push, and then just ended up falling into Wrath. And it's weird how little of this feels like a chore. Like, I mean, look at this. I'm having to kill 2 level 43 mobs just to pick this flower. There's always a chance when you're out here doing this that some 70 is going to come swing by and steal this flower from you. No, I actually get it. Oh man, give me a point. Come on. Yes, excellent. So, I mean, but it doesn't feel like a chore or like a big grind in the way that retail 20s do, which I don't mind. I like a good grind. You know, I enjoy a good grind session, but this feels so much more immersive in a way that retail is very, very much lacking. And maybe at some point I'll try to knock out a video explaining exactly what I'm talking about, because I don't know exactly how to explain it right now, but it feels much more involved in like there's a process that makes sense when you do these things than retail does. And retail feels very much more like some of the things are grindy, but I guess the grind doesn't really make sense. Anyways, I'll figure out how to put it into words later. I won't bore you guys with that today. So that's kind of where my head has been really in Classic a lot. I log on to my free-to-play 20 once every couple of days. Like, it's Brewfest, so I logged on to do the dungeons, and I think I need to get enough tokens to get like one of the achievements because I have to buy some clothes and go dance in Dollarn or something. I have to do that, but I want to make sure I get that done this year, so I don't have to wait a whole another year to do it. We've got some Darkman Fairs coming up again where I need to log on and get my cooking and engineering done and all that. So I haven't forgotten about my free to play, but really like my excitement, my hype, my drive to work on some stuff has been here in Classic. And that's kind of, like I said, it's kind of where my head's been. It's probably where I'm going to spend the majority of my time for a while. So those of you who are here for free-to-play stuff, I apologize. This is now a free-to-play and Classic channel. I'll talk a bit about 39s and all of that in here. I will still talk about free-to-play stuff. I promise. Major changes in the Dragonflight beta and all that. We will be keeping up with that. But yeah, man, expect to see a lot more Classic stuff because it's so good. It's so good. I definitely wasn't rose-colored glasses. So anyways, I'll stop gushing about Classic. I've got to get back to work. As always, thanks for watching to the end, guys, and I will talk to y'all next time. Bye.